week, Helldivers 2 and Empyrion changes, and a lot of smaller ones. Hello Space Monkey, you're watching Space Crazy. Welcome to the channel and to our regular news roundup. If something happened last week in your favorite SF game and we missed it, be sure to tell us in the comments and we'll add the game to our list. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. Seems this week was very much dedicated to developers tweaking and bug fixing, as other than Helldivers 2 and Empyrion, the other games brought some fixes with issues in the software and in gameplay. Even the Helldivers 2 update, with all its bells and whistles, brought a ton of tweaks, nerfing and buffing. Let's take off. Starship Simulator gave us new information on how the development is going, and they promise they will make their development cycles shorter so we don't have to wait a year again for the newest demo. It's become even a star simulator too, as while aiming for realism with regards to the stars, they ended up calculating the speed of individual gases within and leaving them. I'd say that was a bit over-engineered. The loading screen will now be filled with images of the ship being built, which is cute. Decks have been moved around, especially the engineering decks. They've gone and expanded also what's normally not seen, like putting insulation beneath the panels. They have also set up the physics within the ship, so they will be able to control and calculate air pressure and the spread of fire and pathogens within the ship. Yikes. The interiors have been completely redesigned and modeled to what I think is a too detailed level, but it does look good indeed. There's a working elevator, individual naming of the panels, and the VIP lounge of the ship now includes a piano. You can even play with your MIDI keyboard if you feel like it and have one. You can also play chess and at some point in the future even pool billiard. The conference room now even has a YouTube player. Moving on to the bridge, the roof is now transparent so we can appreciate the 18,000 real-life stars included in the game. What is not real but in the game is that planetary systems on the map or even whole sectors will have a political state in line with the status of the civilization within them. Still on the bridge, the developers have added a whole list of actions, all having to do with sensors, which will be so detailed you will be able to produce a surface map of planets. And as we said in one of the last news, the ship will now have bridge NPCs taking care of tasks. Looking up to the future, the next build will be concentrated on VR graphics and on fleshing out the NPCs, and hopefully won't take a year to implement. Elite Dangerous, which I have to come back to one of these days, dropped an update having mostly to do with power play. This update adds a new community goal which will have commanders destroy specific ships in power conflict zones and control scores decay weekly until they reach 25%. Also, the higher the control score, the faster the loss of score will be. There's also been changes in the merit system I honestly didn't quite understand. Star Rupture, an up-and-coming survival title, will enter playtest end of July with single-player content, and you can be part of that playtest if you're lucky, as you can apply just by going to their Steam page and requesting it. For 2 days, you will be able to test the game as a solo player, not yet in co-op mode. The devs have prepared 3 hours of content, give or take, and are of course asking for bug reports and your opinion. The authors, still on Steam in spite of breaking an important rule and lying to their customers, got an update this week, correcting multiple bugs in the story or its quests and correcting wrong translations. Although they don't say if they again made the translation with AI or not, and dropping several other bug fixes. Dune Awakening got a rather small fix once again, getting the servers to behave, or so they hope, this time promising they've really fixed the bug where inventory items get lost traveling between maps, and once again hoping the inventory duplication exploit is done and dusted. What they don't seem to have fixed is the bug where you can't collect spy sand as it disappears into thin air. At least I encounter it in Haga Basin still. Forever Skies also dropped what they call a QoS patch, fixing missing or wrong icons, incorrectly appearing meshes and some typos, along with some support for controllers. Oh boy, the Subnautica 2 drama continues with 2 slides of a presentation being leaked to Reddit, which apparently show that the goals for the early access release were reduced in May, scaling the content down from plans made 2 and 1 year ago. These would support Krafton's argument, and they promptly acknowledged the authenticity of the slides. Now, milestone reviews are nothing new or special in software development, as some things come easier, some don't when engineering software, especially software as complex as a game. And then the complaint filed by the fired individuals against Krafton has been released, with them wanting monetary compensation as well as a return to their positions. In it, the former leaders of Subnautica 2 allege Krafton used pressure tactics to delay the release. This seems it will end in a protracted and long battle in court, and surely does not make the development of the game easier. Empyrion, another one I haven't touched in a while, has done some deep changes to the galaxy, points of interest and missions that are so deep you will only experience them if you start a game completely anew. These all in an experimental build you have to expressly load up. Also because any save game prior to this update may get wonky when doing missions. If you, like me, have done kinda all the missions, well, time to do them all again, I suppose. They've also started bunching up the missions into, for now, 5 chapter stories. This update now brings a warp drive T2, which makes travel time faster, and between us, is quite easy to program. Just make the animation quicker and the time between places shorter. The devs also added an even more difficult game start called Frontline Conflict and a new startup planet. And Telenar soldiers have buffed up weapons. Helldivers 2 had once again a big patch. It nerfs the effects of your actions in co-op compared to when you are soloing because of a correction of a bug. So it's not you, it's definitely them. On the other hand, you'll recover faster from getting ragdolled, but on the other hand, being shot in the chest will cause more damage and kill you faster if you don't do anything against it. As will being shot in the legs or shooting on the legs of friend and foe, as leg armor has been slightly nerfed overall. But you can now show your true patriotism and your fight for democracy by planting the one true flag directly on your enemies, even when they are alive. But why are they still alive? Moving on to the weapons, the pacifier, the blitzer and the pummeler will now stun your enemies easier and for a longer time period, and their magazines are now bigger. Bayonets hurt your enemies more than just punching them, but really I use neither attack so I won't notice. The fire from incendiary grenades lasts longer, and while we're on fire, the flame sentry won't put itself that much on fire, because that was quite ridiculous. And the cooldown before you can reapply the stratagem has been reduced to 100 seconds. And once again, like I think they did in the last or one before last update, you'll set your enemies on fire more easily.